All right, folks, are we ready to get started? Okay, wonderful. Welcome. My name is Dana Vinson. I am the current president of the Murray Women's Club. I want to thank the candidates and community members who are here. I think one of the most important things that we can do is provide a forum such as this so that the community can make educated decisions when they're in front of their ballots. So we have Cynthia Barnes, who will be doing our Pledge of Allegiance in a moment, and our chorus is going to sing the national anthem. Bobby Weatherly will be our moderator. Our timekeepers are Pat Harrington and Cynthia Barnes. And then our videographer is Brandon Story. I'm going to cover some basics. If anyone needs a restroom throughout this evening, the door that is open at the back of the room, there's a restroom immediately on your left, or you can go down the stairs.
Ledger is also here.
And the ledger is also here. Yes, thank you. You can also go down the stairs and then immediately to your right for restrooms. Okay, ready for the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay.
Everyone stand, please. And on part, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remain standing for the national anthem, please. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare that was bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Once again, good evening to all the candidates, to their families, to ladies and gentlemen of Murray, Callaway County. First, we will have magistrates to explain who you are and your points of interest to the voters. You have just a brief 2 minutes to do that. So we'll start with Larry Crutcher. Is he here? We will continue with Kenny Reynolds. Is he here? Kenny, come right on up. 2 minutes. We'll barely change places.
That's probably all they'll want to hear of me. First of all, thank you for having this. We appreciate that. My name is Kenneth Reynolds. I'm running for magistrate in District 2, which is the New Concord, Cherry Corner area. I'm married to Robin Allen Reynolds. We've been married for 42 years. We have 2 sons, Kent and Ray, 4 grandsons, 3 of them in Callaway County School System, 1's graduated. I'm Chief Deputy Coroner right now for Callaway County. I've worked 26 years at the Murray Fire Department, retired as Assistant Chief there. I'm the Executive Director of the North American Country Music Association International, which is the largest country music association in the world for independent artists. I'm also the founder and CEO of the Kentucky Country Music Association. It sounds busy, but they're part-time, trust me. I've got plenty of time. While working at the fire department, I also worked on the ambulance service for 10 years, taught at Murray State under the Occupational Safety and Health for hazardous materials for about another 10 or 11 years. My big thing is new business. I'd like to see new businesses come in with better jobs, broader tax base to ease the burden on the people, and push our tourism even more. They're doing a great job, but with everything you could do just a little bit better, But that's pretty much me, and that sums everything up, and I guess we're getting fairly close on time. So all I can say now is I appreciate your consideration on your votes, and I definitely will be wide open. If elected, you can call me anytime, day or night, just like I do at the coroner's office. So thank y'all.
Okay, we are continuing with Magistrate for District 3, Cole Houston.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me tonight. Start with just a little background on myself. I was born and raised here in Callaway County my whole life. I've got a wonderful family, my wife Lizzie, and 2 amazing children, a daughter who's 3 years old and a son who is 11 months old. I've owned and operated a lawn and landscape business here in Murray since 2017, and I currently work for my family's farm alongside my dad and granddad here in Callaway County, pretty close to Hazel. During my time as a business owner, I learned the importance of having clear and open communication with people and keeping everyone informed and up to date on how things were going. Hearing and listening to what people want and following that up with doing what you said you were going to do goes a very long way. If I'm elected, those will be 2 of the main things I focus on. I know that the people in District 3 want to be heard and communicated with about their questions and concerns. And I'll also keep the people of Callaway County informed on what is currently going on in Callaway County through social media. I've heard Paul explain it as making the community feel that they are part of the process, and I can't think of a better way to put it than that. I do not take running for this position lightly. Callaway County is a special place to me, and I will take the county's business seriously. I want to make decisions that are best for the county as a whole, and I will not just rely on myself to make these decisions when it comes to voting on county business. I'm aware that at times any person can have biases on certain issues, so I will try to seek wisdom and guidance from other people as well when it comes to important decisions concerning our county. I look forward to the opportunity to be District 3 Magistrate, and hope I can get y'all's support. Thank y'all very much.
Our next candidate for Magistrate District 3 is Donald Cherry.
Well, thank you, ladies, for having us here. My name is Don Cherry. I'm running for re-election of Magistrate District 3. I grew up in Murray, graduated from Murray High School, went on to Murray State University, of which I met my wife, Linda Cherry. She's here tonight, and she's a retired school teacher, and we'll be married 50 years this November. And she also serves on the city council. I retired from Kroger after about 40 years experience, and I retired as the West Kentucky, West Tennessee District Manager. I've got 30 plus years upper management experience. I'm a deacon at First Baptist Church. I teach Sunday school. I've served in numerous civic communities, organizations as Rotary, Make-A-Wish, Chamber of Commerce, and Town of Gown, of which I did serve as president of Rotary, State Board, Make-A-Wish, and I was on the charter members of Town of Gown. I've got 12 years experience in county government, of which I've seen many changes. Some of the positive changes we've had is we have a professional HR department established now. We have a deputy judge. We have a research computer page of Callaway County you can go to. We have our fiscal court meetings recorded and played back on cable TV. We have open meetings monthly that anybody from the community can attend. We're trying to keep open communication going. But we still face numerous challenges coming down the pike every day, something different, things I didn't even face years ago. We've got solar farms trying to come in. We've got marijuana operations coming in. And now we've got data centers coming across the nation coming in. So it's constant changing. I pledge to be a good steward of the community dollars, tax dollars. I pledge to be a good servant to all of our citizens. And I feel like that I'm best qualified for this job and humbly ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate. We are moving on now to the jailer candidates. Each candidate will have 5 minutes to respond to these 2 questions. First of all, are there current programs in operation at the jail that you would change, improve, or replace with different programs? And the second part of the question, what are your thoughts on how to manage or improve inmate overcrowding? And what are your possible solutions? 5 minutes, and those ladies will really keep you on time for sure. They'll give you a 30-second response.
We have to yell, we're having technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties, all right. The first candidate to speak is Shane Henley.
First off, please excuse me. I am not a public speaker. So I do not like speaking in front of crowds. I took a couple of notes from the questions that was asked, and so I'll read them to you. I don't like reading speeches, but I'm going to read this to you. I would look to improve and expand prisoner programs, especially those that help inmates return to society productive citizens while also benefiting taxpayers. One program I would strongly support is adding a Department of Corrections certified SAP, substance abuse program, at the jail. The program could be established with minimal startup cost. Compared to the long-term benefits it would provide, substance abuse is one of the most leading causes of repeat offenders in our entire nation, not just Kentucky and not Callaway County, but our entire nation. And giving inmates access to treatment can reduce recidivism, improve families and make our community safer and better, and also give a better workforce for our employers. In addition to the rehabilitation benefits, the jail could receive Department of Corrections reimbursement funds for inmates who complete the program. Over time, those additional funds could repay the startup cost and create a new long-term revenue source to help offset operating expenses for that program. This is especially important since Kentucky House Bill 557 did not pass, which would have provided much-needed additional operating funds from the Department of Corrections to Callaway County. Not just to Callaway County, but to all the counties that house state prisoners. But it was not passed. Because that opportunity was lost, we must now look for practical and creative ways to strengthen funding while still improving inmate outcomes. I believe successful jail leadership means balancing accountability, rehabilitation, and responsible financing management. Programs like SAP can help us achieve those goals. Now going to the other part of the questions, inmate overcrowding. Unfortunately, for us, good for you, we do not have that issue. We have several empty beds at our facility. We have to find unique ways to fill those beds from other counties and the prison systems, because those beds help offset what the county has to pay in expenditures for the operational cost. It was a few years ago, what was it, Brad, about 3 when they sued? Yeah. Sorry, it seems like yesterday, but so a couple of the jailers across the state decided to sue Department of Corrections, and that immediately resulted into lower inmate populations at the county jails across the entire state. Because of that lower population across the state, we still have the same operating expenses, but less funding from Department of Corrections. So that's why the Kentucky Jailers Association lobbied our legislators to do the House Bill 557. Thank you. Have a good night.
Our next speaker, vying for the office of jailer, is Bradley Rowland.
Hello, everyone. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised here in Callaway County. Graduated Callaway High in 1999. I started the jail in January 2007. I've been doing this 19 years, going on 20. I ended up starting my career on the floor and working all the way up to a supervisor at the main jail before I transferred down to our work facility. And now I'm the lieutenant over the workhouse and the Class D coordinator. I've been doing that for the last 8 years. I'm one of the people that's responsible to bring inmates into our facility. And that's why I want to hit on the last question first, is because Shane's right. The state is not giving us inmates anymore. In fact, they're pulling them in at an alarming rate. So where that comes into play for y'all is when they take state inmates out of there, that means your dollars, your tax dollars, is funding it versus the state. So whenever you hear about our budget increasing, not really increasing, but 1 year we only needed $800,000 from the county. Now it's like 1.4 million. So as you can see, when they pull those state inmates in, we have to pull from the county funds. So it's terrible. We have to find new ways to offset those funds. We need to have better solutions. Have the judge sit there and try to sentence these people faster, quicker, so they become a state inmate instead of burning up your money. Now, I'm going to go over the programs now. We got a lot of programs at the jail, and they work great. A lot of them's through the Department of Corrections, our work program. I know people had talked online about a female work facility. Right now, there's just not enough inmates. It's not. And it would cost y'all a lot of money for us to pay for it. We'd have to build a new facility, and that's not in the budget. So, unless y'all want to take on that extra burden and say it's okay, we can't do that. There's some programs I do want to add. I want to get our garden program back. It'll actually save us some money. I was able to get everything donated the first time we had it. Y'all didn't have to pay for anything. The land was $1 lease for the land, and then all the vegetables, the plants and everything was donated. It helped cut costs a little bit, so I want to keep that program going. There's a couple other programs I want to see. I want to see skilled-based programs. I want to see a carpentry class. Ton of construction companies here in Callaway County. Let's get them out, let them have a skill, so whenever they get out, they can go say, hey, I've done this at the jail, and they can get a job. Now, let's not forget, we have people in the back secure area of the jail. They don't get to do these programs. So let's do this. let's get some computer-based programs. Excel, Word, money management. Let's get them learning those kind of programs. There is another program I want to talk about. I wasn't sure about bringing it up, but since it's one of the things tonight, I want to get a domestic violence awareness program going in the jail. Recently, we had something happen with a past inmate, and they meant a lot to us. And that awareness might help somebody in the future. It's not going to bring any money in. It's not going to bring any credit in for anything. It'll be funded through the jail, through our canteen, which is not your tax dollars. Canteen account is completely separate, but we'll fund it through that. But I think this is a program, and I want the other candidates to consider saying that they'll fund it as well. Because whoever becomes jailer, this is a program I believe we need to have. I would love to see us expand on more of our skill-based programs, though. I mean, we need to get these inmates trained so they have a better chance of succeeding when they're released. But we also need to worry about the ones in the back that we cannot get out to do a carpenter class. Second chance workforce, I work with them closely. None of them can go to it. And I have 30 seconds left, so I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate your time. And like I said, the program that I want to see most right now is domestic violence awareness. I want to see that happen in our facility. Thank you.
Our last speaker for the office of jailer is Mark McCristian.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I'm happy to be here, guys, giving this opportunity to speak to all of you guys. Just like Brad did, I'm going to answer the last question first, if that's all right with y'all. My name is, again, Mark McCristian. I retired from Murray Police Department after 22 years as a captain over investigations. I've put a lot of these people in jail. I've sent a lot of them to prison. The people I've done that with, I feel like they were some people that needed to go away. Been down to jail for the last 8-10 years after I retired from the police department. Wanted to do something in the same vein, but different. I've got grandkids, as you can tell, they decorate my phone quite often, so I never know what I'm going to have on it. Got 3 grandkids, 2 children of my own, so that's enough about me, I guess. Let's move on to some of these issues. Possible thoughts on how to manage or improve inmate overcrowding. We don't have as big a problem right now with overcrowding, but we have had that in the past. We need programs such as we need to have them out on ankle monitors. We need alternate sentencing. These are all stuff that we can get with the courts, which I'm very familiar with. We can get with the courts and work out these plans ahead of time to where we don't have these overcrowding issues. We can also use some of these people to sentence to community service. We've got low-level offenders that come in and they're sitting there taking up space. There's no need for it. We can get them out doing community service, have them picking up trash, anything. Anything's better than just sitting there gobbling up your tax dollars. Current programs in operation at Callaway County Jail that I'd like to change, improve, or replace with different programs. We've got the basic education programs that the state gives us money for. I think we get $1,900 for each inmate that proceeds through those programs from the state. These are decent programs, but unfortunately some of these inmates have had the same program 4 or 5 times. It don't work. As long as the state keeps funding it, we'll keep doing it because that's money coming in. We need new programs. We need job training for these people. We need to get with local businesses, see what their needs are. We've got a workforce of inmates that are all drug tested. They're going to show up. because they don't have anywhere else to be. And some of them are highly intelligent individuals that can get out and do these jobs. We've got businesses here that are searching hard for employees. You can't find anybody. I've got a building full of inmates that need to be out either doing community service or out working those jobs. And when I become jailer, that's exactly what they're going to be. I'm tired of watching these inmates sit there and play video games and watch TV all day. They need to be out doing stuff. We've talked about, like, the garden. It's a great program. I've got a guy that's going to donate a couple acres. Here's what you got to do with the garden. You've got to get them out and work them. You can't plow it, plant your garden, and walk off and leave it like we have in the past. The weeds will take it over. I don't know how many of you have a garden at home, but it doesn't take long. I know mine gets overgrown. It's just like my yard. It seems like it just constantly is growing all kinds of sprigs. We assign inmates to those roads. That's their roads. They take ownership. That way they can by performing this task and cleaning those roads out by hand, they take ownership of that. And they also get to gain responsibility. That's something that's sorely missing for most of their lives. Education programs, we need to bring those back in, such as we've got ways to teach college level courses for some of these people. We've got all kinds of funding, federal dollars out there that's your money. It's going to somebody eventually. We need to get it, and we need to bring it here. I've got a person that's going to be on my team. That's what he does. That's what he did in Polk County Sheriff's Department for Grady Judd. And we're going to bring those federal dollars home to Kentucky and Callaway County. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good day.
Once again, thank you, candidates. We are moving on now to the judge executive. The candidates will have 8 minutes to respond to a 3-part question. And if Cynthia doesn't mind, I want to add a little bit to what she said, because 2 of the questions depend on the answer to the first one. The first one is, what are your thoughts on the development of the property at 641 North and Highway 80? And if that property is used for what has been rumored to be used, do you envision the future of the current courthouse, as many citizens are concerned about it being demolished or used for another purpose? And what effect, if in the event that this does happen, would moving the courthouse services out of downtown, what type of effect would it have on the downtown area? Now, that's a lot to think about, but these candidates will respond, I'm sure, appropriately. 8 minutes, and the first speaker is Paul Reister.
Thank you, ladies, for having this opportunity for us to speak here tonight. My name is Paul Reister. I'm a husband. My wife is a nurse at the hospital. I'm a father. I raised 3 sons. I'm a papa to 2 grandkids. I came to Callaway County in 1985 when I came to attend Murray State University, where I got 2 degrees and went on to work with Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife as a fisheries biologist. I covered the western 14 counties as a regional supervisor. I retired after 30 years. I've been magistrate of the 4th District for my 2nd term. All throughout my life, I've always stepped forward. When my sons were younger and their sports teams needed a coach, I stepped up and I coached. I was a scout leader for 10 years. I've served on many leadership roles at our church. I currently teach an adult Sunday school class. I've chaired the Friends of the Dorn Arboretum Board for 9 years. And I'm a certified Dave Ramsey financial peace coach. And all of those roles are not about a title. They're about an opportunity to serve. So to answer the questions, what are your thoughts on development of the 641 property? We purchased that property with ARPA money that had to be spent on specific things. We have 1.3 in the land. We have about $500,000 in the development, the clearing off of it. My opinion is that land would be great for economic development. The county needs another revenue source. An idea would be to develop that land, to put it into the hands of a developer, let them develop it for economic purposes for the county, and create a new revenue source for the county through a lease program. And what do I envision for the future of the current courthouse? The courthouse is the center, the heartbeat of Callaway County. It can't be demolished. It's a historical building. It's registered, so it can't be demolished. It's 113 years old. I envision the future of it. It needs renovation. In 2021, the fiscal court had a structural historical survey of the courthouse done. It went through and showed all the needs, from the roof to the basement, the things that needed to be done. The price tag was $3.77 million, and that's 2021 dollars. We've yet to do any of that. We have began painting it. If you've been in town, you've noticed that. So demolishing is not in the question. Using it as a county building is what it's meant to be. And what are the effects of moving the courthouse services out of downtown will have on the downtown area? It would definitely change the downtown. It would be devastating to downtown. Murray Main Street has done a great job in their efforts to keep feet on the street through their programs, through their activities that they have down there, and the court services being the heart of where people come. That's the history of that courthouse, where people came to the center of the community to conduct their county business. And so the county business would stay there. We currently have 2 buildings down there, an annex and the courthouse. There's 6 people working in an annex, and 2 of the busiest county services, the PVA and the clerk, are in the courthouse. Could those be swapped? Could there be better efficient use of those 2 buildings? Yes, those are things that need to be addressed. The busiest office that we have, the clerk, 2nd floor, a 1970 version elevator, steep steps. And so those things need to be looked at so that we create a more efficient use of the space we have. That also calls for renovation. And so there's a lot that goes on there. My plan would be to very early on, if elected, is to work with the fiscal court, the department heads, and community leaders to develop a 4-year plan. That's the length of our term in office. And in that plan, we come up with what are we going to accomplish. In that is, what are we going to do with that land? What are we going to do with the courthouse? Those things need to be addressed. My message is all I can reflect on to you is what I've done as magistrate. If you're on Facebook and you've seen any of my Facebook posts from the day one that I started office, I've been about communicating with the public about what your county government does for you. I've learned a lot. I've posted a lot about taxes and budgets, road paving. I've tried to keep people informed. If I was to tell you what my platform is, my key words are transparency, financial stewardship, collaboration. Those are things that I believe in. Those are my values as I serve as magistrate, and that would continue to be what I do as judge executive, and that's to be transparent, not have things happening behind closed doors. We have to create trust with the community. I feel like we've lost some of that trust because people don't trust where their tax dollars are going. So we have to be open about what we're doing and how those decisions are being made. I've learned this, is that if you want real change, you don't shout from the sidelines. You step onto the field. And that's what I've done all of my life. To be involved is to not be a critic, to not be that armchair quarterback. I did that once in 2015 before I was elected to office. Murray Ledger and Times first front page said fiscal court voted to raise taxes. That frustrated me, but I didn't understand because I wasn't in county government. But it frustrated me, and I posted on social media, if families can't vote themselves a raise, why should government be any different? And so that was one of the reasons when I retired in 2017 that I ran for magistrate, got elected. I ran on 4 pillars, was to communicate, serve, represent, and work. I think I could ask anyone in my district over the past 7+ years. I've been very responsive to their needs. I drive my county roads. That's what I believe about leadership. It's about stepping up. So I drive my county roads to be proactive, to get things fixed before the public has to tell me about them. I patched potholes. I cleaned out culverts. I cut trees off the roads. I worked at the courthouse with general maintenance. I've helped at the animal shelter with general maintenance. I've shoveled snow around the courthouse. I've cleaned bathrooms. I stained the courthouse doors. All of that was not for recognition. It was because I saw a need and I knew I had the ability, so I stepped forward. That saved money. That created progress. That's the energy that I would bring as judge executive. I've done it as a magistrate. I've proven myself, and I would do it again. I appreciate your support as we continue on into May 19th, Election Day. I did bring a flyer. It's on the back table that you're more than welcome to pick one up. You can go to my website, paulreister.com, and read more about myself and my values and my visions. Thank you for your time.
Our final candidate for the evening for County Judge Executive is Kenny Imes, and those same 3-part questions. Mr. Imes.
Thank you, Murray Women's Club, for having all of us tonight. I think it's important for people to know and understand what is going on. As Paul alluded, it'd be a lot simpler if people would come to our fiscal court meetings and actually look at our budget. We will officially present it next month, and then we'll have a month to entertain changes that may be desired, and during that first reading, we will send it on to Frankfurt to be sure it meets all the Department of Local Government rules and regulations, and then we'll come back to a final passage, which will start July the 1st of 2026 and go through June 30th, 2027. Again, I'm grateful to be here, and ladies that sung the national anthem, I don't know of a time I've heard any more beautiful voices mixed. I mean, I've heard the national anthem sung, tried to sing it. I'm not a real good singer, but I want you to know how every time you hear that word, if it doesn't do something for you, you need to rethink about your loyalties to the country and everything else. I'm here with my wife, Mary Beth, and Donna got you beat. In June, we will celebrate our 60th anniversary. And I remember my grandmother and granddaddy having their 60th anniversary right here in this building. That was, I can't remember how many years ago, but I just thought a lot about that. And as we talk about the courthouse and the annex and these buildings that, I'm not going to say I'll hold them sacred, but they are our community. They represent our community. And to my knowledge, nobody, and I think Paul correctly said, that is a historical building. We can't go there and tear it down if we wanted to. But along with that, it takes the maintenance, and because it is a historical building, when you go in there and do something, you basically got to put it back to original. That's where real costs come into it. It's not a matter of just, we go in there and paint, but when you start moving steps and elevators and all like that, it's going to run into a serious problem. So, at least in my thought, there's no fault of doing any more than that functionally. When I say functionally, I mean the offices are there. We will operate the next 4 years just like we're doing. If we can make improvements between the annex and the courthouse and the way it works, those steps are steep over there. The stairs inside are steep. The elevator, I forgot when you said it was put in. I don't like riding on it, so I still try the steps, holding on to the guardrail. But that building, this building is one of those icons of our community, to me. And you just don't want to mess with it. It's our tradition. Paul and I, 3 years ago, went up in the very tip top, the bell tower, I guess you'd call her, or the cupola or whatever that thing is. And actually, the old bell's still up there. And we put pictures of it and talked about it on Facebook. Some people wanted to bring it down where people could see it, which I kind of favored. But other people wanted it left right where it is. Don't mess with it. And there's also clockworks up there. To me, impressed me more than the bell itself. They're, I don't know, 8 or 10 feet tall, and they're just like an old pocket watch. I mean, these things come down, but the pendulum fell in 1953, I think, and so it doesn't have a mechanism. But I would like to somehow or another get the clocks electronically, I guess, but not digital, the regular clocks, get them hooked back up where they at least show the correct time. And they do twice a day. As far as if the courthouse, as a courthouse with the clerk and the PVA and the treasurer's offices over there too, were to move out from downtown, that would obviously change downtown. To what effect, I don't know. I think it would be devastating to downtown. And I agree that different organizations have tried to rebuild downtown Murray. That was the original seat of Callaway County government when Marshall and Callaway used to be one county. I don't know if a lot of you realize that. But then Wadesboro was a county seat. But when it came to Murray, and we've got the old courthouse to show you how we treasure those things, is out the city park now. So I don't know really what the effect. Obviously Rudy's, the place on the north side, Muggsy's, those would be directly affected. I don't know the law firms and the other businesses around there, the insurance companies, whatever, what effect they would have. So I couldn't answer that with any degree, but I don't think it would be favorable to any business that sought to locate. And I would hope at some point somebody would figure out how to develop that and make it more of a community with possibly living places above the upstairs. As far as 64180 property, that was bought, again, as Paul said, with ARPA money for the most part. We had to do a lot of cleaning on it, get the ditch straightened out and all that. But as far as I'm concerned, we would be served Callaway County better. The people of Callaway County would be served better if we did what Paul suggested, is take some company that might be interested, that would be ready to lease the company for, I'd say, at least 25 years. Just lease the property, develop it, do what they need to do, what kind of business. I would be somewhat particular. We have had an offer on it from a filling station company, which didn't strike me as something we would want, right there at the main intersection of town. I kind of hastened through that, and I think I've covered those particular questions that you asked, but we're not moving anything or building anything. Quite frankly, we can't afford to build anything right now. The only thing I would like to see built in this county is a new animal shelter. And we're working progressively toward that end, that hopefully that can be under construction by the end of the year. Pretty much we look at several sites. We'd have to buy a lot of them. We've pretty much decided, though a final decision hasn't been made, that it will be located near, either right behind or beside where the current animal shelter is, but it would be a whole new animal shelter be. And we have committed some funds. As people donate, they can donate to the foundation, and then those funds can come to us, but we would have to pay immediate bills. So getting a contractor in, I'd love to see a turnkey thing if we could figure out exactly how to do that. We've got a basic plan. We also have a study being done on it. I don't want to over talk, but how much? Got rough time? About a minute? 35 minutes or seconds? Well, you all know me long enough, and I've spoken to several times. You do know that I could probably stand up here for the next hour or two. But I've just given you the basic concept. I've lived here all my life. I've served in public service all my life. A lot of people don't like I don't like being called a politician, but politics, if you look at the definition, is the art and science of government. And I've tried not only to use just the science side of it, but use the art side and make it all come together. I'd appreciate your support for another term. I doubt if I'll be back up here to seek another one after that, but I'm never say no. Thank you all very much.
I do want to thank all the candidates. I think you have spoken from the heart. You've given us a lot to think about. And I also want to thank all the audience members. You were very respectful of the candidates. And you know, we've never had to call the sheriff and have anybody escorted out. Not even women. Not even women. Thank you so much. Are there parting words from Dana? Do you have anything? Or
Call everyone's attention to the back of the program. We will have another election forum in the fall. So be watching Facebook and Instagram pages for that information. And thank you again to Berlin Times and our videographer. Thank you to the club.
watch all your Facebook and newspaper information about activities at the Women's Club. If this is your first time here, take a look at this, historic building that has never been lived in. I'm sorry? There are some brochures back at the back table. If there's no further ado, that's going to be in the Kentucky Derby. I just know it. You got it here first. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a safe journey home. Good night, everyone.